we got ourselves another episode of Getting Stoned with your host, Mr. Stone Petoskey. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much for being here. My gratitude is immeasurable. Yes, for listening. I appreciate it. I hope your day is going well for you. I want you to know, that you are beautiful. You are love. You are gorgeous. Yes. You are a miracle. You are all that is. Yes. Yeah, you know what? If you feel like it today, see what happens if you share a smile with a stranger. I dare you. Yeah. So I want to just touch on something here. It's I don't get into this kind of stuff very much on here, but it's been 4 years since the world was turned upside down. Now, whatever it is that you think is going on isn't really what I'm here to speak on. Although I myself am absolutely certain that there is something rotten in Denmark. That being said, any sort of resolution to our human, or as I prefer to say, or often say, us two-leggeds. Yes, any resolution to our afflictions will not be found in labels, in things, in separation. All the labels we have, left, right, black, white, Christian, Muslim, you name it. When you get stuck in the labels, you forget who you really are. So, unless and until we remember who we truly are, all of these afflictions, the greed, the power, the suffering, the hunger, the warfare against each other, quite obviously, but also the warfare that the two-legged at present is fighting against nature constantly. Of course, forgetting that we are nature, yo. We're just another animal roaming this glorious blue planet. Yes. So, you can, as I said, you believe whatever you want to believe, man. I ain't here to change nobody's mind. That ain't my thing. Shit don't even work anyway. But I do think it's important to point out that your beliefs most certainly are not truths. Beliefs are things, ideas, perspectives, perceptions that are passed along to us by someone else. A parent, a community, a school, a church, a company, a guru, whatever the case may be. And as such, I recognize the futility of attempting to administer points of view about someone's belief. that happens to be different from mine. I'm happy to discuss. I love conversation. I think it's essential. It's fine to disagree, to debate, to even quarrel with words. I think the idea that there's even any mention whatsoever about restricting speech is utter nonsense. And it's a sure indication that there are people in positions of power who aim to tighten their grip on said power. And restricting speech is the forbidden zone as far as I'm concerned. That childhood what would it be? Verse, let's say. I don't know. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. It's really kind of sums it up pretty darn well right there. If you don't like what someone is saying, then just stop listening. But if we move down the path of restricting what people can say, of punishing them for saying something, jailing them even, is being bandied about right now, you are at that point most certainly living as a slave to the state. So I would strongly encourage all of us two-leggeds to not allow our freedom of speech to be restricted in any way. I would also argue that our bodies, although we are materially connected to all that is, nonetheless, our bodies are also a sovereign zone that no state should have any say in what we do or do not do to or with our bodies. You want to do what the state tells you to do with your body? That's fine by me. I don't trouble myself around all that kind of thing. I'm a you do you kind of guy. But as for myself, ain't nobody telling me what I'm going to put in my body except for me. And if we give that right up, like we certainly did, once again, you might as well call yourself a slave, because that's what the fuck you are. So that's all I got to say about that for today. Just wanted to throw it out there because we just done been through the craziest 4 years here on planet Earth in my lifetime. That's for damn sure. And I for one don't want nothing like that happening again. Ever. All right. So what do you say? Let's jump on into something. This is from a book called The Perennial Philosophy. Aldous Huxley. Aldous Huxley, the author of Brave New World. An Island, another great book he wrote. So he put this anthology together. It's really a fantastic collection. So, somewhat related to what I was just saying, let's read a little bit from that. Of all social, moral, and spiritual problems, that of power is the most chronically urgent and the most difficult of solution. Craving for power is not a vice of the body, consequently knows none of the limitations imposed by a tired or satiated physiology upon gluttony, intemperance, and lust. Growing with every successive satisfaction, the appetite for power can manifest itself indefinitely without interruption by bodily fatigue or sickness. Moreover, the nature of society is such that the higher a man climbs in the political, economic, or religious hierarchy, the greater are his opportunities and resources for exercising power. But climbing the hierarchical ladder is ordinarily a slow process, and the ambitious rarely reach the top till they are well advanced in life. The older he grows, the more chances does the power lover have for indulging his besetting sin. The more continuously is he subjected to temptations, and the more glamorous do these temptations become. In this respect, his situation is profoundly different from that of the debauchee. The latter may never voluntarily leave his vices, but at least as he advances in years, he finds his vices leaving him. The former neither leaves his vices nor is left by them. Instead of bringing to the power lover a merciful respite from his addiction, old age is apt to intensify them by making it easier for him to satisfy his cravings on a larger scale and in a more spectacular way. That is why, in Acton's words, all great men are bad. Can we therefore be surprised if political action undertaken in all too many cases, not for the public good, but solely, or at least primarily, to gratify the power lusts of bad men, should prove so often either self-stultifying or downright disastrous? L'état c'est moi, says the tyrant. And this is true, of course, not only of the autocrat at the apex of the pyramid, but of all the members of the ruling minority through whom he governs and who are, in fact, the real rulers of the nation. Moreover, so long as the policy which gratifies the power lusts of the ruling class is successful, and so long as the price of success is not too high, even the masses of the ruled will feel that the state is themselves a vast and splendid projection of the individual's intrinsically insignificant ego. The little man can satisfy his lust for power vicarious through the activities of the imperialistic state, just as the big man does. The difference between them is one of degree, not of kind. No infallible method for controlling the political manifestations of the lust for power has ever been devised. Since power is of its very essence indefinitely expansive, it cannot be checked except by colliding with another power. Hence, any society that values liberty in the sense of government by law rather than by class interest or personal decree must see to it that the power of its rulers is divided. National unity means national servitude to a single man and his supported oligarchy. Organized and balanced disunity is the necessary condition of liberty. His Majesty's loyal opposition is the loyalist, because the most genuinely useful section of any liberty-loving community. Furthermore, since the appetite for power is purely mental and therefore insatiable and impervious to disease or old age, no community that values liberty can afford to give its rulers long tenures of office. The Carthusian order, which was never reformed because never deformed, owed its long immunity from corruption to the fact that its abbots were elected for periods of only a single year. In ancient Rome, the amount of liberty under law was in inverse ratio to the length of the magistrates' terms of office. Those rules for controlling the lust for power are very easy to formulate, but very difficult, as history has shown, to enforce in practice. They are particularly difficult to enforce at a period like the present, when time-hallowed political machinery is being rendered obsolete by rapid technological change, and when the salutary principle of organized and balanced disunity requires to be embodied in new and more appropriate institutions. Acton, the learned Catholic historian, was of opinion that all great men are bad. Rumi, the Persian poet and mystic, thought that to seek for union with God while occupying a throne was an undertaking hardly less senseless than looking for camels among the chimney pots. We see then that a, quote, great man can be good, and good enough even to aspire to unitive knowledge of the divine ground, provided that while exercising power, he fulfills two conditions. First, he must deny himself all the personal advantages of power and must practice the patience and recollectedness without which there cannot be love either of man or God. And second, he must realize that the accident of possessing temporal power does not give him spiritual authority, which belongs only to those seers, living or dead, who have achieved a direct insight into the nature of things. A society in which the boss is mad enough to believe himself a prophet is a society doomed to destruction. A viable society is one in which those who have qualified themselves to see indicate the goals to be aimed at, while those whose business it is to rule respect the authority and listen to the advice of the seers. In theory, at least, all this was well understood in India and until the Reformation in Europe, where no position was so high but that it was subject to a spiritual superior in what concerned the conscience and the soul. Unfortunately, the church has tried to make the best of both worlds, to combine spiritual authority with temporal power, wielded either directly or at one remove from behind the throne. But spiritual authority can be exercised only by those who are perfectly disinterested and whose motives are therefore above suspicion. An ecclesiastical organization may call itself the mystical body of Christ, but if its prelates are slaveholders and the rulers of states, as they were in the past, or if the corporation is a large-scale capitalist, as is the case today, no titles, however honorific, can conceal the fact that when it passes judgment, it does so as an interested party with some political or economic axe to grind. True, in matters which do not directly concern the temporal powers of the corporation, individual churchmen can be and have actually proved themselves perfectly disinterested. Consequently, can possess and have possessed genuine spiritual authority. In actual practice, how many great men have ever fulfilled or are ever likely to fulfill the conditions which alone render power innocuous to the ruler as well as to the ruled? Obviously, very few. Except by saints, the problem of power is finally insoluble. But since genuine self-government is possible only in very small groups, societies on a national or supranational scale will always be ruled by oligarchical minorities, whose members come to power because they have a lust for power. This means that the problem of power will always arise, and since it cannot be solved except by people like Francois de Sales will always make trouble. And this, in its turn, means that we cannot expect the large-scale societies of the future to be much better than were the societies of the past during the brief periods when they were at their best. Power is a fascinating subject, and most certainly I would agree with the sentiment expressed there by Mr. Huxley. Fascinates me that people vote for someone to rule. I sure as hell don't want nobody ruling my fucking life. Be good, be courageous, be strong, be peaceful, be wise, be compassionate, be joyful. But don't tell me what I can and cannot do. No two-legged has the authority to tell me what I can and cannot do. There may be consequences to my actions indeed, and that is, let's say, appropriate in some instances if great harm is being done by me. But aside from that, no rules and no rulers can tell me what I can and cannot do. I'm going to read a little bit of Jack Kerouac from his book On the Road. Love me, this book. Hell of a piece of work. Here we go. We wandered around carrying our bundles of rags in the narrow romantic streets. Everybody looked like a broken down movie extra, a withered starlet, disenchanted stuntman, midget auto racers, poignant California characters with their end of the continent sadness, handsome decadent Casanova-ish men, puffy-eyed motel blondes, hustlers, pimps, whores, pursuers, bellhops, a lemon lot. And how's a man going to make a living with a gang like that? Nevertheless, Luann had been around these people, this O'Farrell and Powell and thereabouts. And the gray-faced hotel clerk let us have a room on credit. That was the first step. And we had to eat. And didn't do so till midnight when we found a nightclub singer in her hotel room who turned an iron upside down on a coat hanger in the wastebasket and warmed up a can of pork and beans. I looked out the window at the winking neons and said to myself, where is Neil and why isn't he concerned about our welfare? I lost faith in him that year. It was our last meet, no more. I stayed in San Francisco a week and had the beatest time of my life. Luann and I walked around for miles looking for food money. We even visited some drunken seamen in a flop house on Mission Street that she knew. They offered us whiskey. In the hotel, we lived together 2 days. I realized that now Neil was out of sight. Luann had no real interest in me. She was trying to reach Neil through me, his buddy. We had arguments in the hotel room. We also spent entire nights in bed, and I told her my dreams. I told her how about the big snake of the world that was coiled in the earth like a worm in an apple and would someday nudge up a hill to be thereafter known as Snake Hill and fold out upon the plain 50 miles long and devouring as it went along. I told her this snake was Satan. "What's going to happen?" she squealed. Meanwhile, she held me by the cock. "A saint called Dr. Sachs will destroy it with secret herbs, which he is at this very moment cooking up in his underground shack somewhere in America. It may also be disclosed that the snake is just a husk of doves. When the snake dies, great clouds of seminal gray doves will flutter out and bring tidings of peace around the world." I was out of my mind with hunger and bitterness. One night, Luann disappeared with a nightclub owner. I was waiting for her by appointment in a doorway across the street at Larkin and Geary, hungry, when she suddenly stepped out of the foyer of the fancy apartment house with her girlfriend, the nightclub owner, and a greasy old man with a roll. Originally, she'd just gone in to see her girlfriend. I saw what a whore she was. She was afraid to give me the sign, though. She saw me in that engaged doorway. She walked on, little whore feet, and got in the Cadillac, and off they went. Now I had nobody. Nothing. I walked around picking butts from the street. I passed the fish and chip joint on Market Street, and suddenly the woman in there gave me a terrified look as I passed. She was the proprietress. She apparently thought I was coming in there with a gun to hold up the joint. I walked on a few feet. Suddenly occurred to me this was my mother of 150 years ago in England, and that I was her footpad son returning from Gaul to haunt her honest labors in the hashery. I stopped, frozen with ecstasy on the sidewalk. I looked down Market Street. I didn't know whether it was that or Canal Street in New Orleans. It led to water, ambiguous, universal water, just like 42nd Street, New York leads to water, and you never know where you are. Yeah, I told you that brother could do it. Come on, you kidding me? That is like poetry. That's like divine energy just flowing off a pen on a piece of paper. The words. It's a song. It's music. The way that fellow writes, man, he's so damn good. Yeah, Mr. Jack Kerouac, thank you, brother. Mr. Aldous Huxley, thank you, brother. And of course, I want to say thank you all y'all out there. I appreciate you. I love you. Ooh, we didn't do a hug yet, so got to get that in right now. Come on. Oh, yeah. Hug it out. Feels good, doesn't it? Tasty. Yeah, much love to all y'all. Much love. Let's do a song and then get on out of here. What do you say? Yeah, this is an original Sovereignty. Again, I'm kind of on that. It's been 4 years, anniversary kind of energy. So I wrote this one a couple years back. bedtime stories, fairy tales, just another charade. You're awake, I'll be it plain. I don't know what else to say. You're wilder in chains, you're master or slave. Who do you want to be? Oh, what's your destiny? Will you fight for your sovereignty? Their lives are thieves, they are soulless creeps. Deception is a game. The evidence plain. The whole world's gone insane. Alive or a ghost, a hero or a host. The truth you must glean. Things aren't what they seem. It's time we dream a new dream. Choose love, not fear. Know you're the light, my dear. Oh, this is our moment of choice. We all must make some noise, so our children have a voice. So our children have a voice. Yeah, children have a voice. Yeah, sovereignty. Yes. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. I love all y'all. Until next time, this is Stone Petoskey saying peace.